The Tale of King Solomon and the Weaving Winds. Once upon a time, in the ancient kingdom of Israel, King Solomon reigned with unparalleled wisdom and a heart for justice. His fame spread far and wide, not only for his wealth and grand palace, but for his profound understanding of the human spirit. People came from distant lands to seek his counsel, and every visitor left with a lesson that would resonate in their hearts forever. One day, while Solomon was sitting on his throne, a young woman named Miriam approached him. Her face was streaked with tears, and her heart carried the weight of despair. She bowed deeply as she spoke. "Great King Solomon, I come to you with a heavy burden. My village has suffered from the long absence of rain. Our crops have withered, and our people are on the brink of starvation." King Solomon, moved by her plea, listened intently. "Tell me, Miriam, what have your people done to plead for rain?" he asked. "Our elders have prayed and we have made offerings, but the skies remain still," Miriam replied, her voice trembling. Solomon thought for a moment as the golden light of the setting sun shimmered through the palace's open windows. He then said, "You must gather your people and make a sacrifice, but not of the kind you think. You will sacrifice your pride. Share your struggles, your fears, and your hopes with one another. Unity in spirit is the greatest prayer of all." Miriam was puzzled, but nodded in compliance. She returned to her village and conveyed the king's message. At first, some scoffed at the idea, but as hunger gnawed at them, they began to listen. They gathered that evening under the ancient olive tree in the village center, where they shared stories of their fears, joys, and dreams. As they spoke, they began to weave tales of laughter and tears, knitting their hearts together like a tapestry. Days turned into weeks, and still the drought persisted. However, the people were no longer despondent. They had found strength in unity. They began to work together, repairing homes, sharing food, and caring for one another. They realized that though the rains had not come, their spirits had been lifted. One starry night, just as they finished weaving new garments to symbolize their shared purpose, the winds began to shift. Dark clouds rolled in, and the long-awaited rain poured down, nourishing the earth and lifting the village's spirits higher than the tallest mountains. Miriam, overwhelmed with joy, decided to return to King Solomon to share the news. She presented herself before him, her heart racing with excitement. "Great King Solomon, your wisdom has brought us together, and the rain has finally come to our village." Solomon smiled gently and replied, "Miriam, it was not my wisdom, but the power of your unity that brought the rain. Remember this, true strength lies not in the wealth of one, but in the wealth of collective hearts." With pride, Miriam reflected on Solomon's words. She realized that wisdom is not just found in grand proclamations and judgments, but often in the simple act of listening and uniting hearts. She returned to her village with not just a promise of rain, but of continued solidarity, knowing that whenever hardship struck again, they would face it together. Years later, when King Solomon passed into legend, his teachings lived on. Villages remembered to weave their tales, bind their hearts, and seek strength in each other. And so the winds whispered through the ages, carrying the timeless wisdom of King Solomon to every corner of the earth. In unity lies strength, and in sharing burdens, we find the rains of hope.